Oh, so this is the Red Bearded History Channel, and we're out here at Fort Mountain State Park in North Georgia. It's over near Chatsworth. A fine, fine community. Nothing but the upper class. Anyway, uh, it is actually a nice place. I actually do like Chatsworth. Anyway, it's a it's kind of a strange part because it's got these ruins, a wall, and some like weird notches in it and stuff. And you guessed it, archaeologists don't have a freaking clue, but they're willing to make random guesses. And you guessed it, if an archaeologist doesn't know, the only answer that's acceptable is ceremonial, no matter what.
Native American.
Native American, ceremonial. That's it. That's all they know. Or it could be from Welsh explorers that may or may not have existed, or it could be from Hernando de Soto, the conquistador. But the archaeologists, in all their vast wisdom and all the things that they haven't discovered, like 95% of major archaeological discoveries have been found by jackwagons like me by accident. Very rarely a real archaeologist, unless it's underwater. Those boys are getting it done. But anyway, they've determined that it's ceremonial, even though they found zero artifacts of any kind to come to that conclusion. Wild speculation is the scientific method. Anyway, with us, we've got Brittany.
Hey.
All right. So, what do you think? Do you think it's the Welsh, Hernando de Soto, or the Native Americans for apparent ceremonial reasons?
I don't think that they know, I think maybe it could have been uh actually I don't know. I was gonna come up with something good, but I really don't know. I'm not sure.
You know,
No, I'm not.
do you trust the science though
No,
of the archaeologists? Because
no,
I mean,
I
they
mean,
they never make anything up.
no, I
Ever.
don't particularly think that it's gonna be what the scientists think.
I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're putting a whole lot of effort
No,
into determining
the
it.
pamphlet still says that it's a mystery and that it may never be solved. So
Yeah. So it's it's quite interesting. We were heading the way up to the overlook that I was going to show y'all, but there's 4,500 people here. Everywhere we've been, there's just hordes and hordes of people. It's like zombies, and I guess it's good that they're in the national parks and state parks and stuff. I guess I shouldn't complain, but you know, they're in the way. Um,
it's also a weekend. It's a Sunday, St. Patty's Day.
yeah, St. Patty's Day. I'm not wearing anything green, so she pinched the hell out of me earlier. Yeah, you did.
Move it on.
So you want to go back this way now and avoid the apocalyptic plague of people?
Teenagers, yeah.
Yeah. So the trail, it's got a couple different trails. It's got a stone fire tower here. Uh, it's got different stuff, different things. Got a gift shop that's got a really big black bear in it that some jack wagons poached back in 97, I think, or 96. And so they got it and put it on display here because Fort Mountain has an obscene amount of black bears active on the mountain quite a bit. They even had a cooler torn. Yeah, they even had a cooler torn all to pieces from a bear in the welcome center sitting in the back. It looks like it.
Recently happened.
Yeah, like it was pretty fresh. But we're gonna wander on around and get to where we're going, and then we'll film some more then. Until then, smash that subscribe button until we get back to you. All right, ain't that right?
Yeah, subscribe.
Smash it. Yeah. All right, so we got up here heading towards the stone tower, the fire lookout on top of the mountain, and they've got a few markers here talking about the moon-eyed people of Cherokee legend of Fort Mountain. Mysterious stone wall, prehistoric and historic stone structures dot the landscape of the southeast. Many of these features have been categorized as piles, cairns, mounds, walls, enclosures, and effigies. The stone wall at Fort Mountain, which zigzags below its summit, is one of the best examples in Georgia of a piled rock feature. Archaeology has shown that the architects of these structures are Native Americans, more than likely from the woodland period. However, the exact purpose of the wall and the tribe who built it remain a mystery. the Cherokee, several legends that surround the origins of the stone wall find the roots in Cherokee tradition. By early 1600s, Cherokee tribes inhabited the areas that now encompass eastern Tennessee, northern Georgia, northwestern South Carolina, and western North Carolina. A few legends revolve around the Moon-Eyed people.
The largest prehistoric wolves.
Yeah. The earliest record mention of the Moon-Eyed people in Cherokee legend appears in Benjamin Smith Barton's New Views of the Origin of the Tribes and Nations of America from 1797. The Cherokee tell us that when they first arrived in the country which they inhabit, they found it possessed by certain moon-eyed people who could not see in the daytime. These wretches they expelled. In some accounts of the legend, the moon-eyed appear as a bearded, fair-skinned race with blonde hair and blue eyes. Other tales recount them as a nocturnal people who could see in the dark but were nearly blind in daylight, and a few tales describe them as albinos. The origins of the stone wall in Cherokee legend have two primary versions. The Moon-Eyed built the wall in defense of an ongoing war with the Cherokee. The Cherokee, knowing that the Moon-Eyed were unable to see them during certain phases of the moon, attacked under a full moon. This blinded the Moon-Eyed people and allowed the Cherokees to drive them from their homes and into hiding underground. The Creek Indians were the ones who had an ongoing war with the Moon-Eyed people and drove them into hiding. That's version 2. Through myths and legends, we explore questions about their existence in our world. Whether based on true or fiction, these stories continue to serve as importance in Georgia's cultural heritage. This really is reminiscent of the experience of the Aztecs when they were expecting the return of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent god. He was, in lore of the Aztecs, was supposed to be a fair-skinned man with a beard and shiny armor. And when Hernan Cortez showed up during his conquering of the Aztecs in South America or Central America, he met the description. So Montezuma, the head of the Aztec Empire at the time, wasn't very reactionary to Cortez's arrival because he wasn't entirely convinced that Cortez wasn't Quetzalcoatl in human form as the legends and their sacred texts had described. So that's why there was a lot of non-reaction from Montezuma and a lot of the other Aztecs, because they weren't entirely convinced. It sounds like a lot of overlap here, because the Cherokee or any other Native Americans here shouldn't have had a good concept of any pale-skinned man, white man, unless that the only natives that would have seen at this time, which would be, they're saying, I think they said around 400 to 500 AD. This is well before Columbus. This is well before most of them. Even the Vikings, I think, are only allegedly supposed to have come to Nova Scotia like 900 AD. So the natives shouldn't have had a concept of a white man or a pale-skinned man or an albino unless they had seen light-skinned Native Americans. So it's always interesting when you see out-of-time descriptions or stories that date prior to the arrival of other people, because they wouldn't have had a concept of African American people or dark-skinned Italians or white people or really anybody, Asians or anything, because they hadn't seen them. They'd only ever seen other Native Americans, according to history. So it's kind of interesting. And then we got this one, the stone wall at Fort Mountain, prehistoric origins. The prehistoric walls in Georgia. Prehistoric walls have been observed elsewhere in Georgia, including Mount Yonah, White County, Stone Mountain, DeKalb County, Browns Mountain, Bibb County, Ladd Mountain, Bartow County, Track Rock Gap, and another Fort Mountain, Union County. These examples, including the wall here, share several defining characteristics. Comprised of dry stone masonry, meaning there is no mortar, built on summits or ridges without any clear evidence for a defensive utilitarian function, contain no historical background linking them to the origins of European settlers, house no artifacts in or near the walls typically. And then they've got some pictures of other walls in different parts of Georgia. Piled stone wall. Numerous piled stone features dot the landscape of the southeastern U.S. One of the largest prehistoric stone walls lies here near the summit of Fort Mountain. The wall is composed of native stone gathered on site. The stones used for the wall range from a few pounds to several tons in weight. The height varies from 3 feet to 10 feet and the width between 5 to 16 feet. In fact, the wall is not continuous and 3 gaps break up the line into 4 walls. The length of the stacked stone and gaps is just shy of 930 feet. What is known about the Fort Mountain stone wall is the result of archaeological survey conducted in 1955 and 6 by Philip E. Smith, a Harvard graduate. Smith and a fellow researcher carefully removed a section of the wall, documenting their observations before repiling the stones. He also compared the Fort Mountain wall to others studied across the southeast. Smith's research concluded that this wall and others throughout the region were not fortifications, but more likely prehistoric symbolic structure. Their true intended function and architects, however, remain unknown. Future archaeological work on the summit of Fort Mountain and its surroundings has the potential to add more pieces of the puzzle. If archaeologists could locate the campsites or other areas associated with the builders of the wall, we could better understand when and perhaps even why their serpentine pile stone feature lies before us. So that all translates to they don't have any idea at all. And it's just safest to bet that it appears older than the arrival of Europeans. So in their mind, it has to be Native Americans, which makes sense. It's a logical conclusion. And then they don't have any idea why. So this is part of it here, and you can see it running right here. This is not a very impressive portion of it. It runs over that way. You can see it run over here. Up the hill, up this way, is the stone tower, the fire lookout, but this is some of the wall. And it does just kind of meander all through here. So, it is pretty neat though. There's another gentleman down there, I think, filming or taking pictures, so we won't get up on top of him. There's a marker down there talking about the man that gave the land away. I took a picture of it. It'll be in the video. But now we're going to stand out, meandering on up the tower, and doing that, I think. It's all these uneven stone steps. I guess they just use rock from the area. So what do you think?
A lot of steps.
Well, they're all uneven. So some of them are like 1.5 feet tall, some are 6 inches. You know.
This one.
Do what?
So some of them are real steep.
But I'm gonna turn it off so you don't hear me fighting for my life. And I'll be back with you momentarily. Yeah. Alright, we were actually closer to the tower than I thought. So let me unplug you. So here's the thing. It was built in 1934, 35, and was restored in 2015. So yeah, it's got all this stuff. I'm not going to read you all this, but they restored it. So here's the tower. It's pretty nifty. There's Brittany over there. They put a new top on it, roof, I reckon. It's a real pretty tower. But you can't go into it, unfortunately, so you can't see over the tree line to see the view. What?
They walked up here to see a tower and you can't see nothing.
Yeah, you can't see diddly squat. They don't let you in the bloody tower. It don't look like. That's some chili cheese. They were to tell you that. They really should tell you that.
Double the chili, double the cheese.
Well, I don't know. Can you go?
Yes.
What are these stairs?
Those just go right there to that other door. You can't go in there.
You sure?
Yeah.
You can go in if you want to. Yeah. There's the tower. It's pretty nifty.
Maybe we should ask Rapunzel to let down her hair.
Climb up in there.
Might be how we get in.
Yeah, the door is locked. You can't see in it though. Ain't a whole lot to see. Yeah. So, just all benches and stuff in here. Nothing fancy. Well.
You think to let people know that before they hike 10,000 stairs.
Oh. Well, that's about it. I reckon there really ain't much else to show you, but if I see something else worth showing you, I'll certainly do it. I'll try to show you some more of the wall. We're going to go a different route down. But yeah, could have been Welsh, could have been Native American, could have been conquistadors. I like to think it was the Welsh or conquistadors. Maybe the Indians helped them build it. Who knows? But yeah, red beard in history.
Yeah, get it?
Yeah. Alright, so here's some more of the wall. We just come down from the tower and you see it just snaking up that way. There's a bunch of boulders all in here. But like I say, the land's rather, they haven't found anything. They're not finding caches of arrowheads, spear points, pottery. They don't know where the campsites are. So, like I say, they're trying to claim it's Native Americans, which it more than likely was, but that doesn't mean that they have any proof to support that. So I find it interesting. I don't know where the sections are that are 6 feet tall and 12 feet wide and all that, where they are. But I'll show you this marker. So just putting a picture of it, I'll just show it to you real quick. So it says, this ancient stone fortification, 885 feet long and feet in length, and the land on the crest of the mountain, 2,832 feet above sea level, was given to the state of Georgia for the establishment of Fort Mountain State Park by Ivan Allen, public spirited citizen of Georgia, in the year of 1934. So that's pretty nifty. And you can see the wall wraps on around that way. So, and it's like I read earlier, it's broken up. It's not continuous. So it's just kind of a weird place. There's lots of places like this with random walls, like it's talking about. There's stuff over in Gwinnett County that are like stone columns, piles almost, that they don't know what are or who built or who to attribute them to, and they're really bizarre. And the conquistadors, specifically DeSoto, did wander around all over Georgia. Where Carter's Lake is, he actually visited that settlement there, where there was 3 earthen mounds there of the Mississippian culture. They're now under the lake. Thank you, government. Anyway, when they built the lake, they flooded those, but before they flooded them, some boys from University of Georgia came up and raided them for anything worth having. And I'm sure that's all probably locked in private hands down at the University of Higher Learning. But anyway, those beautiful mounds that DeSoto describes and his men talk about, because DeSoto died on the banks of the Mississippi River, possibly in Arkansas, I think, or in Louisiana, they're not sure. But people from that expedition survived, and they described going to the settlement. I can't remember what the name of it was, but it was allegedly like the epicenter of the Mississippian culture at that time. that Hernando de Soto was here. So, you know, I don't know that he came up this far towards Chatsworth area, but he's really not that far away from it, quite honestly, when he's at Carter's Lake, or what is now Carter's Lake. So, we're going to meander down on these steps. You want to do a second goodbye like I always do in the videos? I always do 2 or 3 goodbyes. Isn't she pretty, folks?
No.
See, look at her. Look at her. Now she's blushing. Isn't she pretty? Look at her.
Follow, like, subscribe. Red Bearded History.
You don't want them to share?
Oh, and share.
Thank you. All right. Until next time, I think that's about it for today. I don't think there's anything else to show you. So, yeah, get it. Oh, I also have a video on Kennesaw Mountain that I filmed. We went to last weekend. I also went to New Hope Church Battlefield and Pickett's Mill. I think I'll be able to publish the Kennesaw Mountain one. I'm not in the New Hope Church one, the Pickett's Mill one. I think I'll be able to use part of that footage. Some of it's not what I thought it was, so I'm going to have to go ahead and one of those I'm going to have to refilm part of it. It actually might be Kennesaw Mountain. Anyway, so I'll post this video first, and then I'll fix those and post those too. So those should be coming up in the next few weeks. And there's some news coming towards you on the Ray Clay Traveler channel if you came to this channel from my other channel. And it's pretty exciting stuff. We can't talk about it right now. We'll do one of those YouTube things. We can't talk about it right now. But it's coming up soon. You'll hear about it soon. Anyway, get it? Yeah. Yeah.
Third goodbye.
Yeah. Get it.